I'm starting to think that buying books and reading books are two different hobbies. I love them both. But if I had $1 for every book I didn't read, I could buy more books and not read them. Let's get into these 10 books that I own but I have not read. My name is Raquel. Welcome and welcome back. So, the first book we are going to start out with Becoming by Michelle Obama. I was looking forward to reading this book. And then I ran into Viola Davis's book. And after I read Viola Davis's book, I wound up not going back to Michelle Obama's book. And it's not that I don't want to read it, it's just that I don't know. Once I put it on my shelf, it just kind of disappears from my brain, I suppose. And then The Kindest Lie by Nancy Johnson. I bought this book to read with my daughter, one of my older daughters. We got The Kindest Lie and we got The Vanishing Half. She's not really a reader. We read The Vanishing Half and she lost this book, and we didn't read it and neither did I. And then The Sweetness of Water by, who wrote this? Nathan Harris. I was really excited to read this book. But I was doing something. I tried it about, I want to say about 3 or 4 times. The first 2 times I was interested, but I was busy. And so I kept having to go back. And because I kept going back, eventually it was no longer of interest to me. But I still want to read this book. I just haven't read it as of yet. And then Cubana. Now, this book, the synopsis for it is super exciting. I really want to read this book. But I bought it for 2 reasons, which was number one, it was by Jaquavis Coleman, and number two, I only paid $1 for it. So it's kind of hard for me to pass up certain authors and it only be $1. So I am still interested in reading that one. Just haven't gotten around to it just yet. So Queenie by Candace Carthy Williams. This was an accident. I did not mean to buy this book. I was actually trying to buy Homecoming. Is it Homecoming or Homecoming by Yaya Ghazi? And I knew that the cover was orange. I knew that it was by a Black woman, and I could not remember the book or the name of the author. So when I saw this, I thought to myself, "Oh, this is the one," and it isn't. So I'm not really opposed to reading it, but when I look at it, it doesn't bring any memories except for that it was the wrong book. And then The Thread Collector. And this one is by Shauna J. Edwards and Allison Richmond. So it has two authors, which I believe is a Black woman and a Jewish woman. This is historical fiction. I really, really want to read this book. Whenever I do not go to my bookshelf for books. I go to the library, the internet, Libby. I just don't go to my shelf. So even though I might buy a book because I want to read it, once it's on my shelf, I just don't think about it anymore. And so, like I was saying, this one is about two women who are quilting. So the Black woman, she is quilting because she is putting maps on the quilts to help Black men escape so that they can go fight in the Civil War. The other woman is quilting because her husband is in the Union Army, and she is sending him quilts. But at some point, something happens where this woman has to go to New Orleans, and I believe the other woman also, either she is in New Orleans or she too is going to New Orleans. So these two women are going to meet up, and I think they're going to have like some common interests or things that are happening alike. I saw a crime movie. I don't know if it was this movie, but it had a similar story. And I wanted to see that movie. And I wound up running across the book at the same time when I wanted to see the movie. And so, of course, I wanted to get the book. I never did watch the movie. And I don't really know if that book was made into a movie. Then we have Wings of Ebony by J.L., which my husband took me and my daughter on a um, shopping trip to Barnes and Noble. And I actually picked this book up because my younger daughter, she enjoys fantasy. And I thought that she would like it. Black fantasy, right? Nope. So I just have the book and have no use for it. It's just on the shelf. I don't know. It's just there. And then I have The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Delilah Harris. And I got this while I was in the airport. It was the only Black or African American book they had at that time. I bought it, brought it home, read the synopsis, found I didn't really find it interesting. So that's just another book that is just sitting on my shelf that, yeah, I don't think I'll read. And then we have Tiffany L. Warren, who is one of my favorite Christian fiction authors. This is one of the books in a two-series book. And I am looking for the second book. I got this for 50 cents. It is in large print, and this was one of my library hauls. So I am just waiting for the other book, waiting to be able to find the other book. And then A Kind of Freedom by Margaret Wilkerson Saxton. This is her debut novel. Have this book for years. I am interested. There is um, part of a story about post Katrina, something that happens during the time of Katrina, and then there's a part of it that happens around the Civil War. So it's a multi generational story. And the part that happens in New Orleans after Katrina, I am super interested to read. But like I said, once I put it on my shelf, it just goes out of my mind. Now that I've publicly exposed my unread books, I want to give some tips that'll help both of us read faster and complete more books, which is what I need to do. So if you need to do that as well, here are 5 tips and a bonus that can help us get to our goal. Number one is to put the book somewhere where you can see it. Wherever it is, you're going to be reading the book, on your nightstand, on your kitchen counter, in your little reading space, wherever. Just put it somewhere where you can see it. Because that is my problem. I don't look at my bookshelf. So, and then number 2, make time to read and decide how often you're going to be reading. So, are you going to be reading daily? Are you going to be reading once a week, once on the weekends? Just make your decision. And if you decide that you're going to be reading once a day or once a week, stick to it. That is what is going to make the difference. Setting the time and sticking to it. Number 3, decide how long you're going to be reading. So, are you going to be reading 10 pages, 30 minutes? Like, make that decision. The average book can be read in about 3 weeks if you read 2 chapters a day. And I have proven this. My husband's really not a reader, but we have been reading. So, we have now read Razorblade Tears, Blacktop Wasteland, All the Sinners Bleed, and we are currently reading My Darkest Prayer. Each one of those books have been complete it in 3 weeks by reading 2 chapters a day. And it's really irritating sometimes because you can get to a really good part where you want to know what happens next. But we have made the decision that once the 2 chapters is over, we're going to wait till the next day. But what it does do is it builds up anticipation for the next day. So it can play a part in helping you get that book completed, because you will want to see what happens next. I don't ever stop reading in the middle of a chapter. I always end the chapter. And then number 4, connect your reading with another task. So, for instance, if you drink coffee, you can set a 10-minute, or during your coffee drinking time, you can just take your book, read your coffee, sit down. Once you're done with your coffee, you're done with the book. Most people who drink coffee daily. So that's a good connection. Or you can do it at night before bed. So if you're a person who has a bedtime, or just whenever you're getting ready to go to bed, you know you're sleepy, give yourself maybe 30 minutes or an hour, whatever your time period is, and your 2 chapters. Or you can do either, or you can do them first. So if you decide, I am going to read 2 chapters and I'm going to give myself an hour, whichever one comes first, that's when you stop. So, if you read 2 chapters in 45 minutes, then you just go ahead and stop, unless you want to complete the hour. It's up to you. The thing is consistency. Make those decisions and stick to it. And number 5, as I was saying before, you can set a timer. You can say, I'm going to read for 30 minutes, an hour, 10 minutes, whatever it is. Set the timer. When the timer goes off, you close the book and you pick it up on your very next, whenever it is you've made the decision. So the bonus is, if you sit down to read a book 3 times and you haven't gotten into that book yet, like that book has not drawn you in yet, DNF it. There is nothing wrong with DNFing a book. I DNF them all the time. The great thing is, if you decide you want to go back, you can. You already have a portion of what has happened in the book. I find that a lot of times something can happen in my everyday life that will trigger a memory in that book, and it will kind of draw me to that book. So if it's not working for you, move on. I know that I am not in this lifetime going to be able to read every book I want to read. So for me, it's a matter of not wasting my time trying to read a book that is not really drawing me in, versus another book that I could immediately start to enjoy. I hope this was helpful. And if you need any tips on how to listen to your Kindle Unlimited, the video right here will give you those. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, see you soon.